Hello everyone, welcome to the Nerd Sanctuary. This is Yami, and today I'm looking at the new Deletors. They recently came out in the G Comic Booster, Vanguard, and Deletor. And they use somewhat of a different mechanic than normal Deletors. I mean, they still have delete and lock and that stuff, but they introduced a new concept called Vanish Delete, where pretty much you put the card in the bind zone face down, and it sort of just becomes something you can never use again. It's pretty cool. Well, let's get started, and you'll see what the purpose of a deck based around Vanish Delete does. Let's see, first I'll divide these between the grades. I probably should have done that before we started. A lot of these cards are new. I mean, I mixed in like one or two old cards. But, first, with the grade zeros, we have Sprout Deletor Linchu, and he is the starter, so he has a Forerunner skill. And he also has the skill that when he's placed into the drop zone as a cost for a Vanguard ability, if the Vanguard has Deletor in its name, you choose one of the units in your opponent's back row, lock it, and your opponent Vanish deletes one of the cards in their hand. Which, once again, Vanish Delete is binding face down. Then we have 4 of the new critical trigger, which is Biting Deletor Diva, or Jiva, depends on pronunciation, I guess. This one's skill is put this unit on top of your deck. At the end of the battle, if this unit boosted, if your opponent has a deleted Vanguard, pay the cost. If you do, shuffle your deck, countercharge 1, which would be unflipping damage, and your opponent chooses a card from his or her drop zone and binds it face down. This whole deck is basically around the idea of binding cards face down, which is, as I said before, called Vanish Deleting. But all works towards a very specific end. Next, we have 4 base heal triggers, 4 stand triggers, which I guess you could also replace with 4 of some older critical triggers, if that's your preferred playstyle, and 4 draw triggers. Alright, moving on to the grade 1s. We have 4 of the new Perfect Guard, which is a G Perfect Guard. It works the way they do somewhat. Discard a card from your hand. When this unit is placed on the Guardian Circle, choose one of your Vanguards that are being attacked and it can't be hit. And then if there's another copy of this card in the drop zone and your opponent has a deleted Vanguard, it can't be undeleted at the end of the turn. So that's pretty good. It's sort of like Omega locking, but with deleted cards. Then we have 3 Ill Fate Deletor Drown. Put this unit into your soul and choose a card from your hand and discard it. At the end of battle, if this unit boosted, a Vanguard with Deletor in its name, pay the cost. If you do, draw 2 cards, and your opponent chooses a card from their drop zone and Vanish deletes it. As I said before, this whole deck is pretty much Vanish deleting. Then we have 4 copies of Ferment Deletor Greion. With the skill, when your opponent's Vanguard is deleted, if you have a hard card with Gray in its card name, you can Soul Blast 1. If you do, your opponent chooses a card from his or her drop zone and binds it face down, which is Vanish deleting. Then this unit gets plus 3,000 till the end of the turn. Again, that's 4 of that. And then finishing off the grade 1s is 3 copies of Idolizing Deletor Gwym. Or whatever that, how you pronounce that. When attack hits a Vanguard during battle, this unit boosted. If your opponent has a deleted Vanguard, choose one of your opponent's rear guards in the front row and lock it. I chose this card to finish it off. That way, most of what's happening isn't just Vanish deleting or regular deleting. You also lock cards from your opponent, making it a lot harder for them to move. Starting off the grade 2s, chose for the same reason as the last one. I have 2 Juxtaposed Deletor Gale. With the skill that when it's placed on rearguard, if your opponent has a deleted Vanguard, you get to lock one of your opponent's front row units. Like I said, just making it more and more hard for them to attack. Following that, we have 3 copies of Lie Down Deletor Given. With the skill Counterblast 1 card with Deletor in its name, retire this unit, and retire 4 other Deletor rear guards. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked a Vanguard. If you have a grade 3 Vanguard with Greion in its name, you may pay the cost. If you do, stand your Vanguard. Very good. Definitely have given attack last. That way, you get to take advantage of his effect without wasting attacks. Following that, we have 2 Swift Deletor daily. With the skill, choose one of your other rear guards with Deletor in its name and retire it when this unit is placed on Vanguard or rear guard. If you have a Vanguard with Deletor in its name, pay the cost. If you do, choose up to one of your opponent's rear guards in the front row, retire it, then they choose a card from their drop zone, and Vanish delete it, and then this unit gets plus 2,000 until the end of the turn. Very good card, also does the Vanish delete. Now, these next cards, the Hailing Deletor Alba and Hailing Deletor Elro, they work like the left and right arresters from the Murakuma clan. But I'm going to start with Hailing Deletor Alba, and there's 2 of him. And his skill is when this unit is placed on rear guard, if your opponent has a deleted Vanguard, search your deck for a Hailing Deletor Elro, call its rear guard, shuffle your deck, and if you called a card, your opponent calls the top card of their deck. And then in the right column, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, if you have Elro in your left column rear guard, then this unit gets plus 3,000 till the end of the battle. That's where these cards work as the arresters. They gain 3,000 if they're in certain columns with the other one in the other column. Then we have 2 of the Hailing Deletor Elro, and he has a once per turn skill that when your opponent's unit is placed on rear guard, do an effect from a card. Countercharge 1, and your opponent chooses a card from their drop zone, and Vanish deletes it. So, this card will hurt people who use Royal Paladin, or Gold Paladin, or the newer Shadow Paladin. And then from the left column, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, if you have a Hailing Deletor Alba in the right column rear guard, he has plus 3,000. Moving on to the grade 3s, there's 8 of them. First off, I have 4 Docking Deletor Greion. And he has the skill from the Vanguard circle. It's an activated skill that counterblast 2 Deletors. Choose one of your rear guards with Deletor in their name and retire it. Delete your opponent's Vanguard, and your opponent chooses a card from their drop zone and binds it face down. And also, when this unit's placed on Vanguard, your opponent chooses 2 cards from their drop zone and Vanish deletes them. This is pretty much the ace of the deck, at least as far as like regular units go. There's a different ace that's a grade 4, which I'll get to soon enough. Then following Docking Deletor, there is 4 of the Waving Deletor Greion, and he works as a cross ride for Greion. And he has the skill Soul Blast a Docking Deletor Greion, and choose one of your rear guards with Deletor in their name, and retire it to delete your opponent's Vanguard, and your opponent chooses a card from their drop zone, and Vanish deletes it. And then when this unit's attack hits a Vanguard, counterblast 1 to the top 5 of your deck, search for a Docking Deletor Greion, put it in the soul, shuffle your deck. Your opponent chooses a rear guard in the front row, retires it, and then they choose a card in their drop zone, and Vanish deletes it. That's it for the main deck. Going on to the G units. Just get a basic G unit. Doesn't have to be Grey Elemental or anything really, but this is going to set you up for the Generation Break 2 for the real card in this deck. The original Deletor Agord. And he has the Generation Break 2 that if you have a heart card with Deletor in its name, you can pay the cost, which would be to counterblast 1 and choose a rear guard with Deletor in its name and retire it. And you delete your opponent's Vanguard, choose one of their rear guards in the back row, lock it, and they choose a card from their drop zone and bind it face down. Then if the number of cards in your opponent's damage zone is 4 or more, and the number of Vanish deleted cards is 13 or more, you win the game. Yeah. Automatic win condition. Pretty overpowered. Some people really hate it, but hey, we got omitted Lindios, who has an automatic win condition, so why not? But that's it for this deck. It's pretty good from what I've seen. I can't wait to play it more. And if you'd like to see, like, comment, subscribe, check out the channel. We have more Vanguard, we have some Yu-Gi-Oh, and some gameplays, which might end up being shut down because we do not get many views on the gameplays. But this has been Yami from the Nerd Sanctuary, and I'll talk to you guys later.